Life is too short, even when it's long. So, ironically, while I was in a therapy session talking to a client about the stages of grief, as they were going through challenges related to grief with the passing of one of their parents, I get news during that therapy session because I got a phone call over and over and over and over, and I realized, something's going on. So I had to pause the therapy session. I got news that somebody very close to me passed away. So, that being said, um, I thought this would be as good a time as any to kind of talk about the stages of grief. The first stage of grief, and probably the reason I have the ability to be able to be on social media posting about grief after getting that news, is sorry. First stage is denial. Now, when we talk about stages of grief, it's not steps of grief. So it's stages. Grief is as individualized as a fingerprint, right? So we all do it a little bit different, and it might not be in the same order for everybody. But the first stage that a lot of people know about is denial. Denial is kind of sort of, even though logically you might understand um, that the person that you're grieving is no longer with you, um, it's kind of that protective factor that makes it so that you don't fully take in the full gravity of the news that you're getting. It's kind of like that hope that maybe this is a bad dream, that maybe I'll wake up, or maybe there's misinformation. Maybe whoever gave me this news is confused, right? So, first stage of grief is denial. Then there's bargaining, like, Lord, please take me instead, or I'll be a better person. I'll be a better brother. I'll be a better nephew. I'll be a better cousin, a better son, whatever. If you take me instead, or if you just give me 5 more minutes, or let this be bad. Let this be inaccurate news, right? Bargaining. We're making deals with God, or making deals with the devil, or just trying to make deals, trying to make it not be real, right? Then we have anger. Brene Brown says it best. She says that, let's see, blame is the discharge of pain and discomfort. So sometimes when we're hurt, when we have that discomfort, we blame other people. We discharge our pain and discomfort onto other people. So a lot of times we're angry. We project that feeling of discomfort that we have. We put it on other people. Fourth stage is depression. Don't really have to explain that one too much. It can be an overwhelming feeling of sadness. It might be that lack of motivation, that numbness, the inability to get up, lack of, you don't really feel like doing anything, no energy. Eventually we get to the stage of acceptance, and acceptance doesn't mean, oh, okay, I'm cool, I'm fine with the person that's important to me not being here anymore. It's just that maybe instead of trying to pick up the phone and call them, you realize, oh, okay, this is the new normal. They're not going to answer. You start to adjust your habits. You start to kind of get acclimated to, as we used to talk about during the pandemic, the new normal. I know we hate that phrase, but we start to kind of get adjusted to changes, right? Now, David Kessler and Elizabeth Kubler-Ross are the world's foremost experts in grief, grieving, loss, that kind of stuff. Whenever Elizabeth Kubler-Ross passed, David Kessler realized there's actually a sixth stage of grief. A lot of people don't know about this one, so bonus. Thanks for watching so long. All right, so the sixth stage of grief is finding meaning. So finding meaning in the life of the loved one who's no longer with us. So it doesn't necessarily mean finding meaning in the death, or trying to like rationalize or understand why they're dead, or that kind of stuff. But finding meaning, like maybe it's they didn't have the opportunity to do something, so you keep doing it for them. Continue that. My mom didn't have the opportunity to write a book. She always wanted to, so that's why I wrote Cooking Up Counseling: A Recipe for Peace in Unsavory Times, available on Amazon. So she didn't get a chance to write a book, so I wrote a book to find meaning to help her with that. MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. There's nothing they can do to save their children that have already passed away from drunk drivers, but they decided that they were going to help other people to not have to endure that pain, that suffering. So by enacting laws and legislation and awareness, right? So that's a great example of finding meaning. Like for me, when my mother, whenever we celebrate her passing, she's not the recent death, but a decade ago plus, we like to eat strawberry milkshakes from McDonald's because she loved them. So we kind of get around, family, talk about her, and share our love. All right. So that's kind of sort of the stages of grief. And I've talked more than 5 minutes, which I know is like, oh my gosh, does anybody have the the attention span to actually watch a 5 minute video anymore? So for those real ones that have been on here and you watch the whole thing, chef's kiss. Much love. Appreciate y'all. Thanks.